the Chicago Bears. They've made a decision.
The monsters of the Midway.
They are saying they have their quarterback, right?
My hometown Chicago Bears.
That's right. I was going to ask you that because they haven't done a lot of good things over the years. But here's one that might make sense. Where are you on? I don't know. My phone is going crazy here. Justin Fields first, and your thoughts. Did you think he's a franchise quarterback? Did you like the progress? Because he went from absolutely terrible to definitely better last year.
I'm going to take it from a ridiculous standpoint. From a fantasy football standpoint, you got to love him. He got some serious points for you in that regard. But I think, I like what the Bears are at least making a commitment to somebody finally, because to say that you messed up on another quarterback, it is just a horrible standpoint from the organization. You can't keep saying, well, let's get another quarterback. At some point, somebody has to go on in and go, we need to make this work. And I think there's enough of Justin Fields there. Let's face it, the guy can run. He can be a good playmaker.
Yep.
Now you need
and here's the danger in this, and you just said it. Are you trying to save face? And I'm going to say this. Because Joe Dumars, when he was running the Pistons, he had a quote as a general manager that I think is right on target. And he traded away guys that he drafted. Remember Rodney White, Mateen Cleaves, these were high picks.
Yep.
And he said, it's not about being right, Alan. It's about getting it right. So you got to be careful if a GM is holding on to somebody because they don't want to show that they made a mistake. And I'm with you. I like this move because I think they improve. There's something there to work with. Boy, did we see Jalen Hurts. If you want to think about giving up on somebody, Alan, you could have given up on Jalen Hurts. Am I right or wrong?
Exactly, yes.
You could have. And that guy, if it wasn't for the injury, would have been the MVP of the National Football League. He got hurt, missed a couple games, and it cost him.
I think, and we're going to get into the circumstances of what the Bears are getting back in this trade today, but I think what they are also buying themselves a year of time because they also picked up a pretty decent wide receiver in this whole deal.
And they needed one,
and
didn't
DJ
they?
Moore. So I think you're saying to Justin Fields, we're trying to surround you now with the things that you can start to prove to us that you can also be a good passer, that you can also take command of this offense, because they also got a number one draft pick for next season. So I think that, and who comes out among the quarterbacks that come out next season, more than likely, is going to be Caleb Williams of USC.
Yep. So they still have, right, so they can have their eye on him.
Exactly. So I think the Bears are probably putting it out there. This is the year you need to take a huge step forward, because we are going to be in a position with another first-round pick next season to possibly address it if you don't.
And you know what? I think that's a win-win for the Bears, especially because there's a little question mark about the first overall quarterback, isn't there? About his size?
Yeah.
Right? So imagine if you do that and draft him and get rid of Justin Fields, and then that doesn't work out. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, without question, yeah. But I think I like what the Bears did today.
Let's get Steve DeSager in. Is Steve there? Let's get Steve in so he could break down exactly, give us all the nuts and bolts of the trade.
It is.
Hi, Steve.
Hello, and a good afternoon. And by the
Yes.
way, we'll get you a little update on World Baseball Classic at the bottom of the hour.
Please, I need to know. Tomorrow, the United States plays their first
Saturday
game, right?
nights, Sunday nights, and Monday night for the U.S. in Arizona.
Great. All right, give us the whole trade.
It's a lot, quite frankly.
No, I know that's why I called you in. I needed a professional. I don't want to butcher it. Okay, it's a lot.
Well, it's Carolina getting the number one pick for this year, and over the next 2-3 years, giving up to the Bears 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and wide receiver DJ Moore, who still has a couple years left on the extension he signed.
So it's a good, okay, so there's a lot of stuff there for.
And they're moving down. They're still getting a top 10 pick this year, so.
Right, because they got the number 9 pick, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what the Bears will still have, a top 10 pick. They keep their quarterback, and they have a chance too, Alan, as you pointed out, to still be in the quarterback market next year.
Exactly. And what the great thing about this for Bears fans when they look at this particular trade today is that hopefully it totally erases that huge mistake they made years ago with Mitchell Trubisky, where they gave up everything to get him when they could have chance, obviously passed on Mahomes, who was like, they had a chance to draft Mahomes. They passed because they wanted to move up a spot to get Mitchell Trubisky as if anybody was going to take him in that thing anyway. I would say total miscalculation.
I remember that, yes.
And that put the franchise back several years.
Yeah, if you miss on a quarterback, it's going to throw you back. And now here's the Panthers, who traded for Sam Darnold, right?
Right.
Also traded for Baker Mayfield. They're a mess. That franchise is a mess. And now that here they are, moving all the way up to take a quarterback. They need a franchise quarterback.
Right.
I don't know who they're taking. Has that been out there? Is it Bryce Young or is it C.J. Stroud? I'm just asking you, Alan. You're the general manager. Who are you taking?
And the kid from Florida is getting a lot of buzz too. I mean,
who's that? Levi? Who?
It's is it Anderson? The
kid
yeah.
What's his first name? Yeah.
He had a very good combine.
Combine. They loved all of the stuff that he did, his vertical and everything. He was just jumping out the building.
Right. But your point is well taken. For the Panthers, this is another opportunity. Is you can't miss. So you better get this right in terms of a quarterback. You've had the opportunity to see Stroud on display on Saturday afternoons for a couple of years for where he played at Ohio State. So there's no question that you know what you're getting there to some extent. But like you said, size is a big thing.
It just is, because if you do it and it doesn't work out, it's going to be bad for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could take it might work out. It might work out. But in the NFL, you want as close to a sure thing, or, that's why they frown on some guys who don't have the stature that they're looking for in a quarterback. They could be wrong. Kyler Murray, Arizona, and it looked like at one point it was going to work out, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that year they were 7-0? They won the first 7 games, and they were rolling.
Now he's probably saying I should have, maybe joined the Oakland A's.
Yeah, now maybe baseball is going to – maybe he'll wait until they move to Las Vegas.
And the way the A's are going, it may not be too late.
Yeah, that's right. He might be a starter. Put him in center field tomorrow. All right, this is I want to hear what the people think on this. Did the Bears do the right thing here? 877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Did the Bears make the right move? The Bears have botched plenty of things in NFL history, okay? They won in 1985. When did they win before that, Alan?
Ooh, man, you got to go back to George Halas days.
I mean, it's been a long time. They're one of those franchises that haven't done a lot of winning. That town was filled with Chicago went 108 years. I don't know, the Blackhawks went 60 years. What was it, right? Before they won it. Like some amazing sports drought.
And you wonder why Michael Jordan is so revered in Chicago.
Exactly. In Chicago, he made Chicago a winner. There's no doubt about it. But we want to hear from you. Do you like this trade for the Bears?
Let's hook up Quinn
Yes, Big Daddy.
from Seattle. You're listening to The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. Quinn, what's your take here? What do you think?
Thanks so much for having me on, fellas. I appreciate it. I want to preface this by saying I grew up in Detroit. I'm a Lions fan, so I have no stake in the Bears at all. I do not like the Bears. But I think they made a great trade. Obviously, I think the question should be, I think the trade's so great, the question should be, are the Carolina Panthers idiots? Because they got rid of McCaffrey. Now they're getting rid of DJ Moore. They're getting rid of future picks for what? A young quarterback who's going to be too small and not have any weapons to throw to?
Well,
what were they thinking? They need to fire that GM, man. That's
a big question, and I'm with you. And you just saw what they've been doing. I mean, they got Baker Mayfield. They got Sam Darnold. Like, they don't know. It's almost like the Indianapolis Colts who have had like 11 quarterbacks in the last 5 years or whatever it is.
Essentially, Rob, they're going to go through the same thing that Chicago is just now going through. You're going to have to wait for some young quarterback to prove himself.
Yep.
With no weapons around you.
Well, right, which is going to be very difficult. 877-99 on Fox.
Mark from Buffalo, you're listening to The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. Mark, what do you got to say?
Hi, I'm total agreement with the first guy. It just makes no sense to me. I mean, the only explanation that I can think of that Carolina made such a horrible trade is that the division is wide open, even with Derek Carr coming in. I know their defense is good, but I don't think they're any juggernaut. But it just makes no sense. I mean, the Carolina Panthers are so far away from competing. Almost reminds me of the Giants. I'm a Giants fan, and I think the Bears made an amazing move. I mean, they got all these picks coming back, and I mean, listen, Carolina is probably be lucky to maybe win 5 games next year, and that's going to be another pick for the Bears next year. So
you know what? I want to see the picture of the Carolina Panthers general manager, because after the deal was done, I think he had his hands up in the air and felt like he had a gun in his back. I mean, like what were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, if you got Trevor Lawrence coming out, you got Joe Burrow coming out, you got Andrew Luck coming out. Well, those guys, then I understand. But I haven't heard one consensus on who the number 1 pick should be.
Exactly.
I'm not sold on Young.
Exactly.
I'm not sold on Stroud. I'm not sold on Liv. They could have probably got a good quarterback at number 9.
And you know what? That is the point. If there was some consensus guy, Allen, like, oh my God, you got to do whatever you can to get this kid.
Yeah.
But it's not that kind of quarterback draft. It's just not.
And I think that's why this is such a great deal for the Bears, because they get a number 1 next season from Carolina. And, Caleb Williams is probably coming out. And if Fields doesn't get it done this year, you put all your eggs in the basket and you go, we're going after Caleb Williams.
877-99 on Fox. You want to jump in?
All right, let's go. Scott from Virginia, listening to The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. Scott, good evening.
How are y'all guys doing today?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm hurt. This hurts.
Are you hurt?
I am a Carolina fan since Kerry Collins, day one. And I don't know what Tepper's thinking. You don't make this kind of trade except for a generational talent at quarterback.
Right.
I don't see anything generational at all with these 4 or 5 quarterbacks that are projected first rounders this year. Richardson's got numbers. Cool. He was also a 500 quarterback at Florida, but Patrick Mahomes was also a 500 quarterback, and see what he's doing right now. I show inconsistency with Bryce Young. I see inconsistency with C.J. Stroud, and he has Pro Bowler. I mean, he has first rounders he was throwing to and still having issues. We were a game away from winning the division last year with incompetent quarterback play. And now we lose our first-round pick and DJ Moore, who's probably a top 10 wide receiver. That's my opinion. I mean, and he's been having everybody throw him the ball and still making it work. This is 3 years steps back. I mean, you're putting too much pressure on the defense. And with no offense now, I mean, you're losing picks, weapons, everything.
Hey, we got Ricky Ricardo on line 1. And guess what he said about the trade? What happened, Lucy? 877-99 on Fox.
All right,
come on, Alan. You like that, didn't you?
I did like that. Let's squeeze Andre in here from Massachusetts. You're listening to The Odd Couple on Fox Sports Radio. Andre, what's your feelings here?
How you doing? Thanks for taking the call. This is a massive home run grand slam for Ryan Poles. In terms of the haul that he got back, that's a consistent theme. But over to the Carolina side, David Tepper, I believe he's the richest owner across the board in the NFL, and this just tells me, he's tired of losing, and he's taken the theory, the approach. This is, you have to get a rookie quarterback, okay, and that's how you're going to win in the first couple of years. And he takes a look at that division. The division is absolutely wide open. So in his opinion, like I said, they were close last year. Obviously, you got Jacksonville, who's going to be in the mix. Excuse me, I apologize. Wrong division. Right. So the Saints is a maybe, and then everybody else is nothing. So I disagree with it only because the generational quarterbacks are next year with the kid who's at Carolina.
Right, and now the Bears have a chance at that as well if Justin Fields doesn't progress.
Yes. So from the Bears standpoint, Ryan Poles, tip my hat to him. This is an absolute. This is like a Danny Ainge type of a heist that he got in return. But for Tepper, I feel like, he's rushing a little bit in terms of win now, and he's putting a lot of pressure, frankly, on Frank Reich, who a lot of people are, shouldn't have got fired in Indiana, but a lot of other people could have got that job in Carolina. They went with the old hand, but now he's got a lot of pressure early on to get it right at the quarterback, to get either Stroud or Bryce Young and develop them early on. And just in conclusion, there's rumors or talk that Tepper favors Young from Alabama, but Reich likes bigger quarterbacks than Stroud. So those two might not even be on the same page, which, again, I hope they're not.
I hope it's the football coach and not the owner making the decision, right?
You'd hope.
I hope so, Rob. Thanks for taking the call.